Welcome to the Prescott Lab Podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a physician and integrative medicine researcher at the Ravenshade Institute for Human Health. If you're a man over 60 or even pushing 70 or 80, I want to ask you something simple. Have you been feeling like your strength is slipping? Like your drive, your clarity, or your confidence just isn't what it used to be, even though you're trying to stay healthy? You're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. But more importantly, you're not stuck. Today, we're diving into 4 specific fruits that can help restore what time has quietly taken: energy, circulation, memory, even intimacy. And I'll also reveal the one common fruit that might be working against you. It looks innocent, but I've seen it quietly sabotage hormones, dull energy, and steal that fire so many men are working hard to protect. Now, before we jump in, I'd like to ask for one small thing that might bring more good than you think. Hit the like button on this video. Why? Because the men who do often report unexpected wins. Better sleep, more energy, steadier blood pressure, and yes, a little more spring in their step the next morning. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it's momentum. Either way, I hope you're next. And if this message resonates with you, leave a comment below. Say hello. Tell me what's on your mind, or just type in where you're tuning in from. I read everyone and I'm rooting for you. All right, let's begin with a fruit that's helped more men than I can count. The one I call the circulation restorer. Well, let's get into it. Pomegranate, the circulation restorer. I once met a man named Leonard. He was 69, a retired postal worker from Ohio, the kind who woke up early, walked his miles, and always showed up for others. But when he sat across from me, something in his eyes told a different story. "Doc, I eat right, I stay active, but I still feel off. My hands are cold, I'm tired by noon, and in the bedroom, I just don't feel like myself." There was no shame in his voice. Just quiet frustration, the kind I've seen in so many men who are doing everything right and still feel like something essential has slipped away. His labs came back mostly normal. Blood pressure, fine. Blood sugar, a little high. Testosterone, low but not dangerously so. The real issue wasn't disease. It was something more silent, diminished circulation. As we age, nitric oxide, the molecule that keeps blood vessels open and elastic, begins to fade. And when blood stops flowing as it should, so does everything else: energy, clarity, intimacy. That's when I gave him one simple recommendation: 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice each morning, nothing else. Why pomegranate? Because it's one of nature's most potent circulatory boosters. Rich in polyphenols that protect the lining of your arteries and restore nitric oxide production, the very mechanism that makes blood move where it's needed most. 3 weeks later, Leonard came back. I saw it before he said a word. His skin had color, his handshake was firm and warm, he sat straighter, and then he smiled. "Doc, I feel like I got a piece of myself back." When blood starts moving again, the body responds. Your brain wakes up, your joints move easier. And yes, your confidence, that deep, quiet kind, begins to return. This isn't hype, it's not some superfood fad, it's biology. Give the body what it needs, and it often remembers what to do. So if you're listening right now thinking, "That could be me," try it. 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice each morning for 2 or 3 weeks. No sugar, no blends, just the real thing. And when you do, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below, even just a few words. Tell me what you felt. I read every one. Your story might be what helps another man start his own. Now, circulation is just the first layer. Because even when the blood flows, if the nerves are tense, the joints are stiff, and the pressure won't let up, something is still missing. That's where we're headed next. Banana, the mood, joint, and pressure regulator. A few winters ago, I met Roger, 66 years old, a former high school basketball coach with the kind of handshake that once could crack your knuckles. But that day, he moved slow. His voice was quieter than I remembered. "Doc," he said, "I'm stiff all over. My knees bark every morning. I'm exhausted by lunch. And lately, I snap at the littlest things. I'm not myself." We checked his numbers. His potassium was borderline low. Magnesium wasn't much better. His blood pressure had started climbing and his sleep was broken. I told him something I've told hundreds of men, and usually it surprises them. Sometimes the most powerful medicine comes in a yellow peel. One banana a day. Mid-morning, no pills, no powders, just real food at the right time. Bananas are a quiet giant in men's health. Packed with potassium to relax your blood vessels and reduce vascular tension. Full of magnesium to ease muscle tightness, calm your nerves, and help regulate blood pressure from the inside out. And vitamin B6, the unsung hero for mood, brain chemistry, and sleep cycles. And funny enough, just the other day, a viewer named Michael left a comment on our last episode. Doc, aren't bananas full of sugar? I've been avoiding them for years. So let me answer that here. Yes, bananas contain natural sugars, but they come paired with fiber, potassium, and essential nutrients that help regulate blood sugar, not spike it. Especially when eaten in the morning when your body is most metabolically active. Roger gave it a try. One banana every day after his walk, no drastic changes. And when he came back a few weeks later, he looked me in the eye and said, I didn't know something so small could make this much difference. His knees didn't scream anymore, his sleep had deepened, his temper was even again. And most importantly, he felt grounded. Because when your pressure evens out, your joints hurt less and your mood lifts, it's not just your body that changes. Your presence returns. You start engaging with the people around you again with clarity and calm. So if you're listening to this and thinking, that might be me, maybe it's time to bring back something simple. Not a supplement, not a special shake, just one banana. Mid-morning and see what shifts. And if you've already tried it or you've got questions about it, drop a comment. Like Michael did, your question might be the one I answer next episode. But now, let's move from the body to the mind. Because even if your blood is flowing and your pressure's steady, what happens when your memory starts to fade? When the words don't come as quickly or you forget why you walked into the room, that's where we're headed next. Blueberries, the brain and memory activator. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? Or maybe stood in front of the fridge, door wide open, with no clue what you were looking for? If that's happened more often lately, I want you to know you're not alone. And no, it's not just getting older. It's your brain asking for help. There was a man I once treated named Charles. He was 72, a retired bookkeeper with a memory sharp enough to quote Social Security tax codes from 1987. But now, he was forgetting names of neighbors he'd known for decades. Misplacing keys. Losing track in the middle of conversations. He sat across from me and said, Doc, my wife thinks I'm just tired, but I'm scared. I feel like my mind is slipping away one day at a time. That fear of losing control, of watching yourself fade, is something I've heard from so many men. And every time it reminds me just how fragile confidence can be when memory begins to fray. But here's the hope. The brain, even in its later years, responds. It just needs the right fuel. That's when I told Charles about blueberries, not as a snack. As medicine, you see, blueberries are loaded with anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that cross the blood-brain barrier, reduce inflammation, and support healthy communication between brain cells. In simple terms, they help your mind fire on all cylinders. I asked him to eat half a cup a day, fresh or frozen. Morning is best when the brain is primed to absorb nutrients. 6 weeks later, he came back with a grin I hadn't seen in months. Doc, he said, I don't lose my train of thought mid-sentence anymore. I'm reading again, I'm joking again. My wife said she feels like I've come home. And that's the part we often forget. Memory loss doesn't just affect facts and names, it chips away at identity. When the mind clears, a man doesn't just think better, he becomes himself again. So let me ask you this. Have you tried adding blueberries to your routine? What did you notice? Share it in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. I promise it won't hurt your memory. In fact, I've heard rumors it might just improve it. And hey, if you do forget where the subscribe button is, it's okay. It's right there, I'll wait. But don't wait too long, because next we're going to talk about something that often gets overlooked: your skin, your joints, and your immune system, the things quietly holding you together while no one's looking. Let's keep going. Oranges, the joint, skin, and immune defender. Let me ask you something personal. Have you noticed your skin bruising more easily lately, or your knees aching just from standing a little too long? And when someone around you catches a cold, does it always seem to find its way to you? If you're nodding, you're not alone. And if that sounds familiar, let me know in the comments. You'd be surprised how many other men are feeling the same. Let me tell you about Richard, my father-in-law. He was 74 when he pulled me aside at a family dinner, quiet but honest. "Everything just feels more fragile," he said. "My knees pop, my skin bruises too easily, and I catch every bug the grandkids bring home." He wasn't out of shape. He walked daily, ate well, kept himself active. But like many men his age, he was missing something vital, not medication, not a supplement. Just vitamin C, the kind that comes from an actual orange. Most of us think of oranges as something you grab when you're sick, but for older men, they're something else entirely. They're a builder, a restorer. Vitamin C helps your body produce collagen, the stuff that holds your joints, skin, blood vessels, and connective tissue together. When collagen breaks down, you feel it. In your knees, in your skin, in your immune system. I told Richard to eat one medium orange every afternoon. Not juice, not gummies, just the fruit. Weeks passed and then he called me. "I don't feel younger," he said, "but I feel held together again." His knees weren't so stiff. His skin didn't crack as easily. And that winter, he stayed healthy even when his grandkids came over coughing. Oranges don't brag, they don't go viral. They just work quietly day after day, reinforcing what time tries to undo. So let me ask you, when was the last time you ate a real orange? Not a supplement. The real thing. Drop a comment and tell me. I'm genuinely curious, and you might just inspire someone else to start again. Because now we need to shift gears. There's one fruit that looks healthy, tastes great, but may be silently draining your testosterone and disrupting your hormones, especially if you're eating it every night. And chances are you are. Grapes, the silent testosterone drainer. Every time I bring up this next fruit, I get the same reaction. "Wait, grapes, aren't those healthy? Doc, I eat grapes every night before bed. You're not telling me they're bad, are you?" Or one I just saw last week. "I thought red wine and grapes were good for the heart. Now I'm confused." I get it, grapes have a good reputation. And in moderation, in the right context, they can be fine. But for men over 60, they can also be a quiet thief. Let me tell you about Warren, 67, former air traffic controller, proud of how well he'd kept himself in shape. He walked daily, never smoked, stayed sharp. But he came to see me because something was off. He said, "Doc, I'm still moving, still doing all the right things, but my energy's not there. My mind feels foggy, and honestly, my drive, physically and mentally, it's fading." His labs painted a picture I've seen many times. Low testosterone, estrogen higher than it should be, thyroid trending downward. When I asked him about his diet, he smiled. "I eat clean, no junk. My only treat is a big bowl of grapes every night." That's when it clicked. Most supermarket grapes, especially the large, seedless, sweet kind, are sprayed with pesticides that contain hormone-disrupting chemicals. But even beyond that, grapes themselves are high in phytoestrogens, natural plant compounds that can mimic estrogen in the body. For younger men, it's not a big deal. But for men whose testosterone is already declining, that extra estrogenic load can tip the scale. In Warren's case, I asked him to make two changes. Cut the nightly grapes. Replace them with half an orange or a handful of blueberries. And eliminate any processed snacks sweetened with grape juice concentrate, the hidden kind in healthy granola bars and dressings. 6 weeks later, his mood had lifted. His energy was steadier. And in his words, "Mornings are different now, Doc. It's like something's been turned back on." Now let me be clear, grapes are not the villain. It's the frequency, the quantity, and the context. If you're eating them by the handful every night or sipping grape-sweetened juices thinking they're helping your heart, your hormones may be telling a different story. So if you're listening to this and thinking, could this be affecting me? Well, then take a week off, swap them for a lower estrogen fruit, watch what happens. And if you've got questions, I'd love to answer them. Maybe you're wondering, does this apply to red wine too? Or what about seeded grapes from a farmer's market? Drop your questions in the comments. I'll respond to as many as I can, and who knows, your question might shape a future episode. Because here's the thing, at this stage in life, awareness is everything. You don't need fear, you just need clarity. And now that you know what to avoid, it's time we bring it all together. Let's talk about what it really means to feel strong again, to rebuild day by day with small choices that restore who you were always meant to be. Final doctor's message: you're not too old to feel strong again. After all these years sitting across from men in their 60s, 70s, even into their 80s, I've learned something simple and powerful. Aging doesn't break you. It reveals you, and what it often reveals is just how much strength is still waiting underneath. If you're willing to listen, if you're willing to act, we've talked today about 4 fruits, not exotic powders, not miracle cures, just real food that works with your biology, not against it. Pomegranate to restore blood flow and bring vitality back to your heart, your mind, and yes, your bedroom. Bananas to calm the nervous system, ease joint stiffness, and ground your mood. Blueberries to sharpen memory and reconnect you with the man you remember being. Oranges to rebuild the structures beneath your skin and defend the body no one sees but everyone depends on. And then there's grapes. Not evil, but tricky. A fruit that looks helpful, yet may quietly tip your hormones in the wrong direction. I've seen it happen more times than I can count. And I've also seen what happens when men let go of what's secretly draining them. So here's my message to you: you're not too far gone, you're not broken, you're not too late, your body still listens. It's just more particular now, it wants what's real, not what's trendy. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start small, add 1 fruit, remove one that doesn't serve you, and then listen. Watch, you'll feel it, maybe not all at once, but piece by piece. Your focus will sharpen, your step will steady. And your confidence, it'll come back like an old friend. And if this podcast helped you even just one part, I hope you'll take a second to do something that helps me back. Hit that like button. It tells the algorithm this content matters. But more than that, it tells me that you're out there, that you're taking steps. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Not just so you don't miss future episodes, but because I've got a lot more to share with you. This isn't a one-time pep talk. It's a journey we walk together. And finally, drop a comment below. Tell me what you've tried, ask a question, or just say hello. I read every single one, and your voice adds to this conversation more than you know. To every man listening, I wish you steady hands, clear mornings, and a spark that refuses to fade. You're not too old to feel strong again, you just needed the right tools and the right reminder. Until next time, I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, and this is the Prescott Lab Podcast.